Mike Tyson and Steven Seagal. Two names that instantly conjure up images of raw power, lightning-fast reflexes, and a lifetime dedicated to mastering their respective crafts. On one side, you have Tyson, a man whose very presence in the ring sent shivers down the spines of his opponents. On the other, Seagal, a martial artist whose calm, almost zen-like demeanor belies the devastating effectiveness of his techniques. These are not just athletes, they are icons, each representing a different philosophy of combat. Tyson embodies the relentless aggression and explosive power of boxing, while Seagal stands for the fluid, redirection-based art of Aikido. Both have legions of fans who swear by their hero's superiority. Tyson, the youngest heavyweight boxing champion ever, was a force of nature. His rise to the top was meteoric, and his knockouts became the stuff of legend. With a combination of speed, strength, and an almost predatory instinct, Tyson dominated the ring like few before him. His training was grueling, his focus unmatched, and his will to win, unbreakable. Seagal, meanwhile, is a master of Aikido, a martial art that emphasizes using an opponent's energy against them. In his films and demonstrations, Seagal moves with a grace and confidence that makes even the most complex throws look effortless. His reputation as a martial artist is built on years of discipline, teaching, and a deep understanding of body mechanics and timing. Now, imagine these two legends facing off in a no-holds-barred fight. The sheer contrast in their styles makes this matchup endlessly fascinating. Would Tyson's raw power and relentless offense overwhelm Seagal? Or would Seagal's ability to redirect force and control distance allow him to neutralize Tyson's attacks? It's a fantasy matchup that has sparked debates for years. Fans, analysts, and martial artists alike have weighed in, each bringing their own perspective to the table. The question of who would win isn't just about physical ability, it's about strategy, mindset, and the unpredictable nature of combat. Around the world, fans still argue passionately about this hypothetical showdown. Some point to Tyson's devastating knockouts and say no one could stand up to that kind of power. Others believe Seagal's mastery of leverage and timing would give him the edge, allowing him to turn Tyson's aggression against him. Tyson's brutal boxing style seems almost unmatched. His punches are like sledgehammers, and his ability to close distance quickly is legendary. Every movement is calculated to inflict maximum damage in the shortest time possible. But Seagal's Aikido is all about control and redirection. He specializes in using his opponent's momentum, turning their attacks into opportunities for devastating counters. In theory, he could use Tyson's own force against him, neutralizing the threat before it even lands. Today, we're diving deep into this hypothetical showdown. We'll look at their backgrounds, their training, and the unique qualities that made each man a legend in his own right. We'll also consider the rules, the environment, and the mental game, because in a fight like this, every detail matters. We'll break down their styles, strengths, and weaknesses, comparing the explosive, close-range power of boxing with the flowing, circular techniques of Aikido. What happens when unstoppable force meets immovable object? That's what we're here to find out. So get ready for the ultimate analysis. Mike Tyson versus Steven Seagal. Two legends, two worlds, one epic fantasy battle. Let's step into the ring and see how this clash of titans might unfold. Mike Tyson's name is synonymous with power and aggression. He burst onto the boxing scene like a hurricane. At just 20 years old, he became the youngest heavyweight champion in history. His boxing style was pure intimidation. He was nicknamed Iron Mike and Kid Dynamite for a reason. Tyson's peekaboo style was devastating. He used his powerful legs and upper body movement to slip under his opponent's punches. Then he'd unleash a fury of hooks and uppercuts. This aggressive style led to many first-round knockouts. He terrified opponents. Tyson's weaknesses? He could be wild and emotional at times. This sometimes left him open to counters. Steven Seagal is not just a Hollywood action star. He's a larger-than-life figure whose presence on screen is matched only by his reputation in the world of martial arts. Known for his stoic demeanor and signature ponytail, Seagal has become synonymous with tough guy roles and high-octane fight scenes. But behind the camera, his martial arts credentials are the real deal, and his journey to stardom is rooted in years of rigorous training and discipline. He's widely recognized as a martial arts legend, having earned respect not just in Hollywood, but also among martial artists worldwide. Seagal's accolades include induction into martial arts halls of fame and a collection of trophies and awards that highlight his lifelong dedication to the craft. His influence extends beyond the silver screen. inspiring countless fans and practitioners to take up martial arts themselves. Seagal holds the prestigious rank of 7th Dan Black Belt in Aikido, a testament to decades of commitment and mastery. Achieving this level is no small feat. It requires not only technical skill but also a deep understanding of the philosophy and principles that underpin the art. In the dojo, he commands respect as both a teacher and a practitioner, guiding students through the intricate techniques and traditions of Aikido. Aikido, the Japanese martial art Seagal has mastered, is unique among fighting styles. Rather than meeting force with force, Aikido teaches practitioners to blend with and redirect an opponent's energy. This approach emphasizes harmony, balance, and the ability to neutralize aggression without causing unnecessary harm. It's a discipline that values control and precision over brute strength. The techniques of Aikido focus on joint locks, throws and pins, moves that can subdue an attacker quickly and efficiently. Watching Seagal in action, his movements appear almost effortless, as if he's barely exerting himself while sending opponents flying. This fluidity is the result of years of practice, honing his ability to read an opponent's intentions and respond with perfect timing. Seagal's mastery allows him to take down attackers who are often much larger and stronger than he is. Through leverage, technique, and an acute sense of timing, he demonstrates that size and strength aren't always the deciding factors in a confrontation. His self-defense demonstrations have become legendary, showing how Aikido can empower anyone to protect themselves, regardless of physical stature. What truly sets Seagal apart is his technical skill and unwavering composure under pressure. In the heat of sparring or demonstration, he remains calm and focused, executing techniques with surgical precision. This mental discipline is as important as physical ability, allowing him to maintain control even in chaotic situations. One of the core principles of Aikido is using an opponent's force against them. Seagal excels at this, turning an attacker's momentum into their downfall. By redirecting energy and exploiting openings, he can neutralize threats with minimal effort, often leaving onlookers amazed at the apparent ease of his techniques. In every encounter, Seagal demonstrates a masterful ability to control the flow of a fight. He dictates the pace, anticipates his opponent's moves, and adapts his strategy in real time. This level of mastery is what separates true martial artists from mere fighters. It's about understanding the rhythm of combat and staying one step ahead. But when it comes to real-world fighting experience, especially against someone like Mike Tyson, a powerhouse with a background in professional boxing, the question remains: does Seagal's expertise in Aikido translate to the unpredictable, high-stakes environment of the ring? This is the big question that fans and critics alike continue to debate. It's important to remember that Seagal's Aikido was developed for self-defense, not for competition or sport. His techniques are designed to protect and neutralize threats in real-life situations, rather than to score points or entertain a crowd. Whether this approach would be effective against a seasoned fighter like Tyson is a matter of speculation, but there's no denying Seagal's status as a true master of his art. Boxing and Aikido are honestly very different. Boxing is all about punching power and combinations, right? The goal is to knock out your opponent. Now, Aikido is more about using leverage and technique to control an attacker. The goal there is to neutralize the threat without causing serious harm. Boxing focuses on striking, while Aikido focuses on grappling and joint manipulation. It's kind of a classic case of the irresistible force meeting the immovable object. So could Tyson's punches break through Seagal's defenses, or could Seagal use Tyson's momentum against him? The answer, well, it's far from simple. Let's take a moment to really imagine these fights, step by step, and break down what might happen if Mike Tyson and Steven Seagal ever faced off in different arenas. First, let's set the stage for a classic boxing match. Picture the bright lights, the roaring crowd, and the tension in the air as both men step into the ring. Tyson, with his legendary reputation and intimidating presence, stares down his opponent. Seagal, known more for his martial arts movies than for boxing, looks focused but perhaps a bit out of his element. In this scenario, Tyson would have a clear and overwhelming advantage. His entire career was built in the boxing ring, and his explosive power, lightning-fast reflexes, and relentless aggression made him one of the most feared heavyweights in history. Every punch he throws is a potential knockout, and his ability to close distance and unleash combinations is unmatched. Tyson's speed, power, and footwork would simply be too much for Seagal to handle. Seagal, while skilled in his own right, has never trained or competed at the level Tyson has in boxing. The difference in experience and skill set is massive. Tyson would likely dominate the ring, cutting off Seagal's movement and forcing him into corners where he could unleash his devastating punches. Seagal's best chance, honestly, would be to use his size and reach to keep Tyson at bay, dodging and weaving, hoping to avoid those crushing blows. Maybe, just maybe, he could frustrate Tyson and wait for an opening. But with Tyson's relentless pressure and ability to read his opponents, that window of opportunity would be incredibly small. The odds of Seagal pulling off an upset in a pure boxing match are pretty slim. Tyson's experience, power, and ring IQ would almost certainly lead to a quick and decisive victory. Now let's shift gears and imagine the two facing off in an MMA fight. The environment changes completely. Suddenly, kicks, takedowns, and submissions are all on the table. The cage is bigger, the rules are different, and both fighters have to adapt. Things get a little more interesting here. Tyson's striking is still a huge threat, and if he lands a clean punch, the fight could end in seconds. But MMA is about more than just punching. It's about versatility, adapting to different styles, and using every part of your body as a weapon. Tyson could still win with his striking, especially if he manages to keep the fight standing. His punches, even with smaller MMA gloves, would be devastating. But he would have to be careful. MMA fighters are trained to exploit any weakness, and Tyson's ground game is largely untested. Seagal, on the other hand, would have more options in this setting. His background in Aikido and other martial arts could give him an edge if he can close the distance and initiate a clinch or takedown. He might try to use his knowledge of joint locks and throws to bring Tyson to the mat, where the fight would be less about raw power and more about technique. Seagal could attempt to take Tyson down and use his grappling skills to control the fight. If he manages to get Tyson on the ground, he could try to apply submissions or use his weight to keep Tyson from getting back up. This is where Seagal's martial arts experience might actually come into play. Still, Tyson's ground and pound would be dangerous. Even on the mat, his strength and aggression could turn the tables quickly. If Tyson gets on top, he could unleash a barrage of punches that would be hard for anyone to withstand, regardless of their grappling skills. Finally, let's take it outside the ring and the cage. Imagine a street fight, with no rules, no referees, and no time limits. This is the ultimate test of survival, where anything goes and both men have to rely on their instincts and training. This is where Seagal's Aikido might really shine. In a chaotic, unpredictable environment, his training in joint locks, throws, and using an opponent's momentum against them could give him a real advantage. He could use his skills to disarm, disable, or control Tyson in ways that aren't possible in a regulated fight. In a no-rules environment, Seagal could use his throws and joint locks to control the fight, potentially neutralizing Tyson's power by keeping him off balance or taking him to the ground. He might use the environment, walls, objects, anything at hand, to his advantage, turning the fight into a test of creativity and adaptability. But let's not forget, Tyson's raw power and aggression could end the fight quickly if he lands a clean shot. In a street fight, all it takes is one punch from Tyson to change everything. So, while Seagal's skills might give him a fighting chance, Tyson's ferocity and knockout power would always be a looming threat. In a boxing match, Tyson wins 9 out of 10 times. His punching power is just too much for Seagal to handle. In an MMA fight, Tyson still has the edge, maybe 7 out of 10 times. Seagal's grappling skills would make it interesting, but Tyson's ground game shouldn't be underestimated. In a street fight though, it's closer to a 50-50 split. Seagal's Aikido could be very effective in a no-rules situation, but Tyson's aggression and power are still major threats. The bottom line? Mike Tyson is the more likely winner in most scenarios. His boxing skills are legendary, and his power is honestly undeniable. Seagal's Aikido is impressive, but it's just not designed for the brutal realities of a fight with someone like Mike Tyson. However, never count out a master like Seagal. In a street fight, anything is possible. But in a straight-up fight, my money is on Iron Mike.